Okay. The Atlanta Falcons have traded the 35th pick to the Denver Broncos. With the 35th pick in the 2021 NFL Draft, the Denver Broncos select Javonte Williams, running back, North Carolina.
A burst of power and then a whole lot of speed.
Welcome back to Broncos Draft Live, presented by Bud Light. Alexis Perry here, joined by the Hall of Famer Steve Atwater. There you can see the Broncos football staff celebrating their most recent pick as they traded up to number 35 with the Falcons, like our friend Billy Thompson just said, for running back Javonte Williams out of North Carolina. Steve Atwater fired up about this pick. Steve, you walked in, you're like, I love it. I love it. Why do you love it?
It's a great pick because, one, can never have too much depth at the running back position, although we have Melvin Gordon, we have Mike Boone, and we have Royce Freeman.
Yep.
This guy is a playmaker. So he's a physical running back. He's good in catching passes out of the backfield, good at pass protection. He can do it all. 5'10", 220 pounds. Oh, man. He's going to cause some headaches for some defenses.
I absolutely love that. In case you don't know all the details of that trade, like I mentioned, Falcons trade number 35. Denver also receives pick number 219 while sending the 40th overall pick and the 4th round 114th overall pick to the Falcons. Like Steve just mentioned, an incredibly strong runner with a stout, stiff arm to dump defenders. Second team All-ACC. He has a school record for points with 132, 22 total touchdowns. He led the FBS in broken tackles and first down carries. He averaged 2 touchdowns per game last year at North Carolina. Steve, does it get much better than this?
I don't think so. And I think Najee Harris was the number one back off the board, and a lot of people had Travis Etienne as their number 2 back. He did actually go second, but actually I had Javonte Williams as my second running back. And, man, I think we're very fortunate to get him in the second round. Yeah,
I think he was listed on Pro Football Focus's big board as the second best running back in this entire draft class, which is obviously great stuff. Let's go ahead and send it over to Phil Milani now, who is standing by with the Broncos general manager, George Paton, his second pick of his GM tenure so far.
George, the pick is Javonte Williams. You made the trade to go up to get him. What did you like about his game?
We liked a lot about his game. We feel he's a 3-down back. He's got incredible instincts, incredible contact balance. You know, he's good in short yardage. He can break the long run. He's good in the pass game. He can pass protect. You know, he was one of our favorite players in the draft. You know, just a great player, great person. You know, fits what we're doing here, you know, culture-wise, and he's going to fit in with our locker room.
You felt like you needed to move up 5 spots there to get him?
Yeah, he would have been gone. You know, we felt that. We did. We kind of had a good feel for the top of the second round, and he was going to go quick. And so we're fortunate we were able to make a deal with Atlanta.
Now you got a dynamic playmaker.
We think so, just to add to the playmakers we already have, and I think our offense will be that much stronger. You know, we have a long way to go, but we feel good about our first 2 picks.
George, thank you very much for your time. Congrats.
Thank you.
Back to you guys.
All righty.
Thanks so much, Phil. And that dynamic playmaker is standing by now with Sydney Jones. Sydney.
Thanks, Alexis. Yes, we're here with running back Javonte Williams, who the Broncos traded up to snag at 35th overall. Javonte, first off, congratulations and welcome to Broncos country.
I appreciate it. I'm too excited right now.
I can see it all over your face. Walk me through how you're feeling right now.
Yeah, it was just a blessing. I mean, this is something I worked my whole life for. And then just to have the Broncos to trade up for me. And I just heard the GM talking. He said he knew I'd be gone. So that's just a blessing, like, just knowing that the team really wanted me that much. I couldn't be more excited, more grateful. I just want to, like, thank God.
Yeah, were you surprised that it was the Broncos at all?
I was a little surprised. But like I said, I'm just excited. I'm ready to go now. I'm ready to go to Denver tomorrow.
Well, we can't wait to get you out here. You know, what was your first reaction when you heard that it was the Broncos? You said you were excited. What did you and George Paton talk about when you were on the phone?
Yeah, I can't even remember. It was so much yelling in the background when I got the call. I could barely hear him, but I just know he was just saying he loved me as a player and as a person. And I just want to thank the entire staff for believing in me to this point and using that second-round draft pick on me. I'm just blessed to be in this spot.
Well, what do you know about the Broncos? What do you think you'll bring to the table here?
They're already a good team, but I mean, definitely just coming in with my leadership, versatility, being able to catch out the backfield, things like that. I feel like I fit in with those guys. They look like a close team. A couple of the veterans already called me, gave me their numbers, just talking to me, and that really felt like home. Just talking to them, that's what we did at UNC. So just having them reach out already, it lets me know that it's a family environment over there, and I'm just ready to be a part of it.
Yeah, well, you'll be joining Pro Bowl running back Melvin Gordon here. So what are you excited to learn from him?
Just him being a Pro Bowler, he know what it takes to succeed in the league. So just taking little things from his game and just trying to make him better and just competing with him every day, every practice, like everything. I feel like he's really going to teach me and make me a lot better as a player.
Yeah, what running back did you grow up watching? Who do you model your game from?
My favorite running back of all time was definitely Adrian Peterson. My dad loved the Vikings growing up. So watching AP and just how he played and how angry he ran, that's something I always wanted to do. And I feel like I kind of modeled my game after him.
Well, where are you at right now? Who are you celebrating with?
Yeah, I'm actually in the bathroom because there was so many people yelling in the living room, so I had to try to find somewhere quiet. I was trying to tell them to be quiet so I could do the interview, but there's a lot of people in the living room, cousins, aunts, uncles, my agent, a lot of people in the living room. They still yelling now. You probably can't hear them, but they're still yelling now.
Well, I appreciate you stepping out so we could hear you, but go back into the family room, celebrate with your family. Javonte, it was so nice meeting you, and congratulations again.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Back to you, Alexis.
Yes, ma'am. He is a gentleman as well. I absolutely love it. Steve Atwater. You know what? Really quick, I was actually corrected. If you like Pro Football Focus like I do, because I'm a little bit of a stats nerd, the Broncos got their #1 rated quarterback and their #1 rated running back, according to Pro Football Focus. It wasn't 2 or 3. Apparently, Javonte Williams was the highest graded running back from Pro Football Focus. I mean, obviously, Melvin Gordon, he expects to be the bell cow back here in Denver, but how critical is it for Denver to have the opportunity to go between a couple of guys like they did last year with Melvin and Phillip Lindsay?
Oh, it's crucial. You got to have, 2 or 3, maybe even 4 good running backs on a roster, because you just never know when a guy's going to get dinged up. With them, when they run the ball a lot, if they're catching passes, they got to take a break. So you need some guys that can fill in and do a really good job. And, man, Javonte Williams, he's a playmaker.
When they talk about the stout stiff arm, that actually kind of reminds me a little bit of a Melvin Gordon trait. Is there anything that really separates Javonte Williams from a Melvin Gordon, or are they kind of similar players?
Well, I think he looks fast. He may look fast on the field than Melvin Gordon, but Melvin Gordon is actually a really fast runner as well. But Javonte Williams, he's got a motor. He's physical like Melvin Gordon. So they have some of the same traits. He may be a little shiftier than Melvin Gordon is, but I think that duo is going to be something special. The trio with Mike Boone.
Of course, with Mike Boone. You know what? I have to mention the quarterback situation here in Denver. Really, no matter who it is, we all know a quarterback's best friend is a really good ground game. So just what does this mean for Drew Lock, Teddy Bridgewater, or whoever the quarterback might be here week 1?
Oh, yeah, like you just said it. I mean, if you have a running game, that takes a lot of pressure off your quarterback, and it makes the play-action pass just that much more effective. But if you don't have a running game, nobody's going to go for the play-action pass. They're not going to respect it. They're going to know that the only way you can score is by throwing passes, and they'll just sit back in zone and intercept passes. So this is a vital part, another piece to the puzzle. And, hey, George Paton is doing an amazing job.
Well, here are his career statistics from his time at Carolina. 366 carries for over 2,200 yards, 29 touchdowns. And, of course, we all know we love a good running back who can make some plays out of the backfield. 50 receptions for 539 yards. Javonte Williams.
Yes, and that's another great thing is he can catch the ball out of the backfield, got great hands, and, what he can do with the ball after the catch. He can run you over. He can make you miss. He can do it all.
Love a running back that spends a lot of time with the jug machine. You know what I mean?
Yes, right.
I love it. Let's go ahead and send it over to Phil Milani, who is standing by with head coach Vic Fangio. Phil?
Vic, you make the move to go up 5 spots, get Javonte Williams. What did you feel like you liked about his game?
Well, he's a really good running back. We feel he's an all-around back, not a situational back, runs the ball well, runs with good power, good contact balance. can catch it coming out of the backfield, can block and pass protection. So he was a guy that was pretty unanimous in the building there. Coaches, scouts, everybody that took a look at this guy liked him.
Does he remind you of anybody? I know Steve Atwater said he's kind of like Terrell Davis.
I don't know. I don't want to. He reminds me of himself. He'll clear his own path.
How do you expect him to fit in with this running back room?
You never have enough running backs, and most teams in the league this year anymore share the load there as the running back position. We've got 3 good runners now with Melvin, him, and Booney, and we'll be ready to go.
All right, Vic, we'll let you get back in the draft room here. Back to you guys in the studio.
All right, thank you.
Thanks a lot, Phil. Okay, a Terrell Davis comparison, Steve Atwater?
Well,
I'm just saying.
The physicality part, and that was one of the things that TD did. He intimidated defenders. They didn't want to tackle TD. He runs the same way. He has that same trait where he's not slowing down upon contact. He's accelerating and trying to run people over. And those cornerbacks who aren't physical, watch out.
TD, a bigger Aaron Jones, whatever it is, we are so thrilled to have Javonte Williams here in Denver. Now let's go ahead and check in with Matt Boyer. He is standing by with Ryan Edwards from Broncos Country tonight.
Thank you, Alexis. Ryan, you heard it from Steve Atwater. Javonte Williams is a guy that you think about earlier in the week saying, oh, man, I got to tackle Javonte Williams on Sunday. What do you think he brings to the Broncos?
Yeah, I mean, he's a physical running back. He looks for contact, and the Broncos have a type. More specifically, Pat Shurmur has a type. And so that was one of the things last year with Melvin Gordon and Phillip Lindsay. When you had Phillip Lindsay in there, there were certain types of runs that you were looking to do, and especially in pass pro, there was a little bit of a concern there. Melvin Gordon was great in pass pro. He's great running between the tackles. Javonte Williams is a complete running back. He had more missed tackles, forced missed tackles, than any other running back in college football last year for a reason. And again, like I said, great in short yardage, 19 rushing touchdowns. He just got better every single year.
How does he get on the field? And we made a lot about Pat Surtain in the first round, getting onto the field. How does he get on the field? How does Javonte Williams get on the field? Because obviously Melvin Gordon is the feature back, but there's still a role to play for Williams, isn't there?
There is. I think with Javonte Williams, what you're going to do here is you've got Melvin Gordon as your lead guy. You bring in Javonte as an opportunity to spell him. As you're going to mix there with the running back, a little bit running back by committee, and then by next year, Javonte is your full-time starter. And that, I mean, you don't spend a second-round pick on a running back without the expectation that he eventually becomes your bell cow back. So that's the way I see it breaking down. Melvin Gordon's on a 1-year contract. At this point, you'd say, okay, well, maybe Melvin Gordon plays his way back into the team to stay another year or so, but Javonte Williams is going to be the feature guy eventually.
It seems like the Broncos every year, first pick of the second round, they go offense in some type of skill position way, with Dalton Reisner being the exception. What do you think about where the Broncos are right now with their skill positions? Because it seems like wide receiver, tight end, they're loaded right now.
They really are. And I wondered at this spot if they would consider offensive line, but they feel really good about their offensive line. I think eventually they'll go offensive tackle. The right tackle is something that needs to be addressed at some point. But you're right. I mean, the skill position players, I mean, up and down. I mean, they have starters at every single spot. They have depth at several spots as well. So, like I said, this is a pick. Some people might say running back sometimes it feels like a little bit of a luxury pick, especially since you have a guy that's already a starter, but you had to build some depth behind there. You were going to address running back at some point. And again, for some people's boards, they had their number one corner as Pat Surtain, and they had their number one running back as Javonte Williams. You got 2 number ones here. I think you did good.
What do you think about going forward now in the second round? Because the Broncos now, I believe, have they have one more pick in the second round, or on day 2.
That's right. 71.
Yep. What do you think they do now? Because, like you mentioned, offensive tackle was a lot of people's choices at number 40. But, now that you move up, you get Williams. Is it defense now?
You could go defense. I'd say edge rusher needs to be a consideration because, again, Von Miller's on a 1-year deal here. You did pick up the 5th-year option on Bradley Chubb, so you have a little bit of wiggle room there. You could go safety, Kareem Jackson on a 1-year deal. Linebacker still is one of those things. Both your inside linebackers are on 1-year deals. So for me, I would go onto the defensive side. I'd take a look at offensive tackle if the right guy is there because you want to build some depth there. But otherwise, I'd stay on the defensive side, probably look at inside linebacker, safety, maybe edge.
I believe you and young Benjamin Albright had Javonte Williams as the number 2 on the big board in Broncos Country tonight. Yep. See, guys, you got to be paying attention to Broncos Country tonight. Ryan, we appreciate the time. Yep. Alexis, let's send it back upstairs to you.
Thanks so much, Matt. Yeah, the Broncos making a splash here the first couple days of the 2021 NFL Draft. Steve, what they were just talking about when it comes to inside linebackers, do you feel like that's next on the Broncos list?
I don't know what's next. I hope it's next.
You hope it's next.
I was hoping that we would get a linebacker at that position, but I do. I like Javonte Williams. I would have liked him if we would have traded back and were able to get him in the first round. So to get him in the second round is a steal. So definitely happy. I still would like to see a linebacker at some point.
Ooh, apparently we get to read some tweets. I was actually looking at tweets on my phone, so I'm really glad that my director is going to do this for me because I wanted to read some of these off. Broncos country, a big shout out to each and every one of you using hashtag Broncos Draft. Let's go ahead and send it over to Sydney. Sydney, what are fans talking about?
Hey, Alexis. Yeah, they are super pumped about Javonte Williams. Let's pull some of their tweets up. As you can see on your screen, maybe on your screen here really soon. Okay, cool. This one's from Cool Colorado, and he said, now this is a move I can get behind. I'm with this Cool Colorado, and it's a move I can get behind as well. Next tweet up. Seems like we're having some technical difficulties, but no worries, Broncos country. You can check out Twitter on your own and still tweet at us using the hashtag Broncos Draft. We all are super excited about Williams here, and I know Alexis and Steve are. Alexis, back to you.
Thank you so much, Sydney. I'm going to see if I could see some of these on the phone. I was right. Welcome to the squad, Javonte Williams, Brian Hare. He is stoked. Yeah. Stephon Boom, he's fired up as well. I mean, seriously, if you guys just go onto Twitter, search hashtag Broncos Draft, go to latest, you guys can see Broncos country just absolutely blowing up over this pick. This was such a great decision. Okay, I'm pretty sure, is Matt Boyer standing by with Eric Dalala? I think he has a pretty good reaction to this pick as well. Let's go ahead. Oh. He is not there yet. Darn it. Let's go ahead and tell you a little bit more about the NFL Draft-a-thon that you guys know is going on right now. It is a virtual fundraiser focusing on real issues facing our hardest hit communities. Visit NFL.com/draftathon now to learn more and donate to deserving charities supporting the digital divide and education, health disparities, food insecurity, and mental health. And like I said earlier tonight, one way you can actually support these causes right here within our Colorado community is by heading to dbron.co/draft and bidding on unique autographed items through the Denver Broncos draft auction. All proceeds will benefit Denver Broncos charities, and you have until tomorrow afternoon at noon to get your bids in. Hey, Steve, I'm pretty sure you have a white panel football on the auction page. Did you know that?
I heard about that.
I wonder what the bid is now. Yesterday was like $400.
Yeah.
I was trying to make it $4,000.
Okay.
I'm
going to bid on it?
I didn't place the bid.
Oh, okay.
I was hoping that maybe you could just sign one for me in your spare time.
I got you.
You got me.
We'll talk about that.
Okay, so Javonte Williams, the newest member of the Denver Broncos. I mean, what have you heard about his character? Does he fit into this room? I can't imagine the Broncos drafting somebody who wouldn't.
Yeah, the Broncos and George Paton, we saw something from, I think it was John Elway said, he doesn't just turn over rocks. He turns over every pebble to try and find out things. And it's very important. When you go into a locker room and you're going to be interacting with guys who are leaders and also some younger guys on the team, you want to bring guys in there who have a good attitude, who have good leadership qualities, and who's going to fit in nicely. And I think Javonte Williams would do just that. And anybody out there who wants to look at him, just Google it. Hey, look up the highlight films on Javonte Williams. You're going to be impressed. He's a playmaker.
Like I mentioned earlier, big fan of PFF. I have their draft guide up right here. Rushing grade 95.9, zone grade 90.2, gap grade 94.1, elusive rating 212.
Oh.
And yards after the catch yards after contact per attempt 4.59. This guy is explosive. This guy is huge.
And he's physical. I mean, he's not a tall guy, but he's one of those short. I won't say short because he's 5'10".
Right.
It's just like almost the perfect size for a running back. Those guys are, again, tough to tackle. Defensive backs see him coming around that corner full speed. If you don't have your hard hat on and you're not ready, he's going to run you over. I
love that. Well, Eric Dalala, he is now standing by, or sitting by, I guess I should say, with Matt Boyer. Eric, I have to say, did you think the Broncos would take a running back? Do you think that they would move up for one?
Yeah, I mean, moving up for one certainly is exciting. I don't know if I expected that. I thought maybe if he was there, you'd consider it, but I like it. I like the aggressive move to go up and get a guy like Javonte Williams. If you know who the player you want is and you think he's got a first-round grade, we saw George Paton said one of the best players in the draft, you go get him, so I like it.
Well, we sat here 67 minutes ago, Eric, and said, what would a successful night 2 look like? And the first name out of your mouth was Javonte Williams. So, thinking about his skill set, Alexis talked a little bit about it with Steve. He's a guy that you see him in the hole, and it's like, oh man, I'm going to get just laid out possibly. So what is it? Just the thunder that he brings? How diverse is that skill set?
Yeah, I mean, I think he's still a home run threat, even though, like you said, people don't – it's like they don't want to bring him down. You look back to that run against Miami that we showed, and, I mean, people – you have to commit fully to tackling him. And I think especially in Denver when it gets cold in November and December, he's going to really challenge defenders' wills in the third quarter, in the fourth quarter. I like that. And then it still has the speed to kind of get away when he needs to, a really, really good compliment to Melvin Gordon. And he just said to the local press, Matt, that he's looking forward to learning from Melvin Gordon. He's watched him since he was at Wisconsin a few years ago and is looking forward to picking his brain.
School record for points last year in 2020, 132. Total touchdowns as well. That was a single-season record. Where does he fit? You mentioned Melvin Gordon. The skill positions now, okay, think about wideout, tight end, running back. I mean, this is probably as good a group as any in the NFL.
Yeah, no kidding. and the fun thing is a lot of them are still on their rookie deals, so they're going to be here for a while. But, I mean, if you're a defensive coordinator, what do you do? Because if you put 8 guys in the box, you'd hope that Cortland Sutton and Jerry Jeudy and Noah Fant and KJ Hamler, that they can beat you. And if you want to play nickel or play dime to stop that passing attack, are you going to be big enough to stop a guy like Javonte Williams, a guy like Melvin Gordon? I mean, that's a real challenge. If they just get a moderate upgrade at the quarterback position out of the play from either Drew Lock or Teddy Bridgewater, or who knows what other craziness happens, but if they even get a moderate upgrade, this offense could take a huge step forward.
Is this now, what's a successful season look like for him? Because we talked a lot about Pat Surtain getting on the field and how that happens. How does Javonte Williams get on the field and make a significant impact year one?
Well, I just think he showed in college what he can do when you split reps, when you keep him fresh. Running back is not the same as wide receiver, where it takes a little bit of time to get kind of accustomed to the NFL game. You can just go. And so, I mean, you think back to Phillip Lindsay a couple years ago, 1,000-yard season as a rookie. I don't know if Javonte Williams can get to 1,000 yards just because he will spend time splitting the ball with Melvin Gordon. And Mike Boone, I'm sure, has something to say about this too. But I would expect that you could see some breakout games from him, and certainly a guy that now when you go from Melvin Gordon to Javonte Williams, there's going to be, I think, very little drop-off. I'm excited to see what he can do, man. I really am.
You're 1 for 1 tonight, Eric. So I'll pose it to you now that you've already got the first one in the bag. 71 coming up. What's it going to be?
Yeah, I think you got to go back to the defensive side of the ball now. Let's go Baron Browning from Ohio State.
Inside linebacker?
Yeah, inside linebacker, an athletic guy. Maybe a little bit of a you think back a couple years ago to Justin Hollins, a guy that kind of floated between inside and outside. I think maybe Browning's kind of made in the same mold. But if Vic Fangio can figure out what to do with him, he's an athletic guy, I believe a 4-year player at Ohio State. He could be really interesting. But, yeah, either an inside linebacker or maybe you go tackle at this point.
As much as it pains me to say this, I do agree. I like Browning, even though he is an Ohio State guy. That's going to do it for us down here. Alexis, let's send things back up to you and Steve.
Thanks so much, Matt. All right, I have to pose the exact same question for this crew. Phil Milani, join us, please, sir. I have to know, who do you think the Denver Broncos will take 71st overall?
I don't have names for you, Alexis, but I agree with those guys. I think inside linebacker is the one position where if you're drafting for need, I think that one makes a lot of sense. You want to bring in a guy who might be able to compete with the current linebackers, Alexander Johnson, Josie Jewell, just maybe a little bit more speed there, maybe a little bit, a guy who can cover some of these tight ends that you always have to face in the AFC West here. But as far as the Javonte Williams pick, I'll tell you what, just standing outside the war room here, you could hear the cheers coming out from the room. A lot of high-fiving, a lot of fist pounds. These guys are really fired up about the move that they made already tonight, and they could add another dynamic player here in the third round. Matt?
Phil, I have to agree with you. I think, gosh, Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah is still out there. You know, I'm going to make Steve Atwater a happy guy right now. I'm going to say Nick Bolton from Missouri. I think I don't know if he's going to get to 71, but if he does, if you end up with Nick Bolton and Javonte Williams in round 2, or on night 2, excuse me, oh man, that would be a home run for the Broncos. Sydney, let's send things over to you.
I agree with all of you guys. Linebacker, tackle, I think that'll be our next move. But I absolutely love how aggressive George Paton has been, trading up to get Javonte Williams. Great pick. I hope to see more of that aggressiveness throughout the rest of the draft. Alexis?
Sydney, thank you so much. Steve, Nick Bolton, that was who Matt Boyer just called you out on. Is that your guy?
Well, you know what? When I looked at the film on him, he's a guy, again, he's not one of these huge guys like Zaven Collins. He's not one of those big guys. He's about 6 feet, 230, 235 pounds. But, man, he's like a heat-seeking missile when he's going to get that ball. He's physical. He's fast. He can make plays. Ah, I love that. I would love it. Come on, Nick Bolton.
That's who you're rooting for, as number 71. Okay, hopefully he is still there. Well, you guys, that is all the time we have for Broncos Draft Live, presented by Bud Light. But don't forget to keep checking in to our virtual war room, presented by Bud Light, on denverbroncos.com and the Broncos social channels over the next few days for all the latest draft content coming out of the UC Health Training Center. We have interviews, highlights, columns, and so much more. Follow at Broncos on Twitter and Instagram. Search Denver Broncos on YouTube and Facebook, or head to denverbroncos.com. Now, before we sign off, I just have to give a huge shout out to our production team for making this show possible. This crew behind the scenes has been absolutely unbelievable on this show over the last few weeks, making this show possible for each and every one of us. So thank you all behind the scenes. For everybody on camera as well, a big thank you to everyone tuning in, Broncos Country. We hope you enjoy the remainder of the 2021 NFL Draft, and we will see y'all back here for training camp.